First story is from a 29-year-old guy who got cheated on by his soon-to-be wife. My soon-to-be wife cheated on me. So, I'm a 29-year-old guy and my girlfriend is 33. We have been together for 7 years total. We recently talked about getting married and I had already proposed and we were already making plans for the marriage. I had the rings already too. Well, one day I was at work and I decided to come home early from work. I called my girl multiple times and no answer. A few texts and again, no answer. I got kinda worried something happened to her, so I sped home. I called right before arriving and again, no answer. I walked in the front door and I heard my nightmares coming from the master bedroom. I peeked through a crack in the door and it was confirmed she was cheating. I slowly crept away. I took my ring off and left it on the dinner table with a note I wrote that said, "I hope you had fun. Here's your freaking promise ring." I walked out and sat in my truck for about 5 minutes thinking. I turned the engine on and revved it as loud as I could, for a few seconds, just so she could hear I was around, and I just left. Since it was a Friday, I had weekends off. I called up my cousin and asked if I could spend the weekend at his house. He asked what happened, but I said I had to tell him in person. I got to his home. His mom and wife live with him. His mom is divorced. And I stayed in my truck and asked him to come out. I was crying and told him what happened. He gave me a brotherly hug, and his wife and my aunt came out. They were confused as to why I was really upset, and my cousin explained what happened since I could barely talk. A while later, I was receiving phone calls and texts from my girlfriend, saying to come home, that she wanted to talk with me. My cousin's wife answered and said I was too busy and couldn't talk. The night came and I was just laying in bed all day. Then I got a message from one of my girl's friends and she said she wanted to talk to me about what happened. I told her to promise me my girlfriend wouldn't be there, and my dumbass believed her. I met her at a Mexican food place, and she had ordered some food for both of us, but I couldn't eat and barely talked. We sat for a few minutes, just talking about how I felt, and she out of nowhere apologized. I asked why, and she looked at the door and my girlfriend walked in. I tried to quickly walk back to my truck to drive off, but they both pulled me back and begged me to stay. We sat in the parking lot, and my girlfriend was just crying and saying how she was sorry, and how she wanted to fix things. But I just looked around, avoiding looking at her face, and I stayed silent. She asked where I was staying, and I just said with my cousin. She came to hug me, but I lightly pushed her off and left back to my cousin's place. At his house, we just chilled outside and we had a blunt, so I could feel a little better and so I would be able to sleep. The next day, my phone was bombarded with texts and missed phone calls, but I just ignored. My cousin said to feel free and stay as long as I needed, but I didn't want to invade his family and personal life. So I told him I would get a hotel, but he told me to stay in the second house on the property, in which my aunt lived in. I made sure it was okay with her, so I decided to stay. I drove back home to get clothes and some personal items, and when I got there, my girlfriend was there with her friend crying. I walked past them, ignored them, and quickly left again. I went back to my cousin's and tried to get my mind off of it, but it was really hard, so I had another blunt to calm down. I really wish I had my mother, but she was gone. As for my father, well, I never met him. My girlfriend showed up an hour later at my cousin's house. She tried to come talk, but my family was trying to tell her to go away. I came out and decided to try and listen to what she had to say. I noticed she still had her ring on and told her who she was going to marry. She started acting hysterical and crying like a baby. She tried to stick around, but I told her if she needed someone, she needed to go to her affair partner, since he was so much better than me. Then it started to get heated. My cousin's wife calmed the whole situation down, and she drove her back to my house. Lately, I've been sleeping at my cousin's and aunt's house, but now I'm lost. Any advice? That situation hit me harder than any punch I have ever taken. Update. Holy crap, I have lost 20 pounds since, and I'm not in shape anymore. Thanks for the helpful comments, I really appreciate it. Update number 2. So, I am transferring home ownership to her name. I really don't care about money. I have enough to do what I want. In a few, I'm going to get all of my belongings. We'll update what happens later. Update number 3. I went to get my personal belongings from the house. She was there, with some friends crying and stuff. One of her friends asked to please talk to her, and to give her a chance. I said heck no. Again, they tried to follow me. I threatened to call the cops, but they sat me down to talk. Again, she was crying and begging that she will do anything. I looked down the whole time. She tried to lift my face up to look at her, but I looked away, got up and left immediately. I drove back to my bro's place and I'm here now, all hurt all over again. Honestly, I'm freaking done. I feel like crap and like I just want to give up already. Update 4. She said she is moving out. So, I'm selling the house now, she is no longer keeping it. Now I'm just thinking about buying my next house. Update 5. I'm going to stay at a hotel for now while I look for another home. I don't want to bug or disrupt my family's personal lives too much. TLDR. Girlfriend I was about to marry cheated. Kept on trying to contact me after I left the house for a while. Got her friends to try and convince me to get back with her. I feel you, man. I went through a similar experience a few years back. From my point of view, she is only sorry she got caught. Whatever happens, do not take her back. Once a cheater, always a cheater. There may be people who forgive and forget and successfully give it another try, but as for me, I got principles. Cheating is the biggest break of trust I could imagine, and once that trust is broken, it can never be repaired. And at least to me, trust is the most important part of a relationship. If you cannot trust your significant other, then how can you be happy with them? It's just not possible. In lonely times, you'll start to think, what if? While your girlfriend is out of the house, and those thoughts will go deeper and deeper until one party can't take it anymore. Second story. I accepted my girlfriend after she cheated on me with a workmate. My girlfriend and I were in an almost 6-year long-distance relationship. It started at the end of our high school life and continued until college. Different college in a 2-hour flight distance. We both graduated, and she is now working while I prepare for my licensure exam. At her workplace, she met someone who provided her emotional support during the times I wasn't around. She and that guy had a lot in common compared to ours. However, that guy was married, just recently. I'm willing to let her go to be with that guy. However, given the fact that he was married, I can't let my girlfriend stray farther and be a homewrecker. They already planned to end the cheating after I finished my licensure exam and go home for good. I still love my girlfriend, and I understand why she cheated on me. Now, she asked for a week to settle everything with him and find herself once again. We are now on a break until we can decide which path should we take. I need advice or experience on someone who had been cheated on, but still together or tried to be together. TLDR. Advice from someone who accepted their partner, even though they cheated on them. This one got me. I can't let my girlfriend stray farther and be a homewrecker. Lol, no. Please. I know you're hurting in denial, but what the hell? Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Your girlfriend did 3 unspeakable things. A. Cheated on you. B. Deliberately and long-term cheated on you. C. Destroyed another marriage. It takes a very specific kind of person to cheat. It takes an even more specific one to cheat with a married person. She is already a homewrecker. The only decent thing to do is tell the wife. If she doesn't, you tell the wife. Her whole life is a lie already. She does not deserve it. She deserves more than a cheater husband. You gave her a week to settle everything? Dude, please, get help. See a personal therapist. You're being used. If you truly want to help her, dump her. She needs to understand there are consequences for her actions. Third story. My girlfriend, 20 female, cheated on me a week ago. I, 20 male, found out this morning. This is my first post in a very long time to any subreddit, so I apologize if I do anything wrong. For a little bit of background info, my girlfriend and I have been together for 4 years. We never had any fights, and she never mentioned she may have been unhappy. I asked her to come over today because I felt like she had been a little bit distant this past week, not wanting to come over to my house. She came over this morning and we immediately began discussing things. I told her that I felt she didn't want to be here as often as she used to, along with some other things. She didn't want to say much, but then she hit me with a bombshell. She said, I went on a date. What? Surprisingly calmly, I asked her what she meant and then the specifics of said date. She went to a bowling alley with one of her coworkers, then out to get something to eat. She said that once she took him home, she initiated a kiss. Well, after finding that out, it was a bit of a blow to the chest. We'd been together for almost 5 years, and now I'm finding out all of a sudden that she went on a date with some guy that she works with. She cried a lot as I told her how betrayed I felt, etc., etc. She said there was no reason for what she did, and that she was sorry. There are a lot more details that I could throw in, but I feel like they would be mostly redundant. This woman is the love of my life. What I look forward to most is getting to see her and spend time with her, whether it's being at the house or going out and getting dinner. It's really hard to break off a relationship that has been going on for so long. This is my first relationship, as was hers. I just don't know what to do. She said she doesn't know what's wrong and that I haven't done anything wrong, but why would she cheat on me? The least she could have done was tell me she wanted to see other people and ending the relationship. But instead she cheats on me and acts like everything is fine. Even while she was on the date with this other guy, I texted her a few times. We text constantly, and when she doesn't respond for a few hours, I get worried. I asked her if she was okay, and after a while, she responded, probably after the date ended, that she was. Despite concerned texts from your boyfriend, you still go through with the date. Then you decide you're going to kiss him. I feel heartbroken, betrayed, and lost. I don't know what I should do. I'm posting this on Friday night, and I told her I wanted her to come back on Monday so we can talk things out. Should I try and salvage the relationship if we both agree on things? I just don't know if I can trust her anymore, and if we do stay together, things would have to change. What should I do? TLDR. My girlfriend of almost 5 years cheated on me for seemingly no reason. She seems extremely remorseful, but also doesn't seem committed to keeping the relationship together. Everything is moving so quickly, I just don't know. Should I try to salvage the relationship if she's willing to try? In my experience, relationships that start when you're very young are at a lot of disadvantages for lasting throughout your young adulthood. You both are changing a ton and will continue until you're in your mid-20s, and you don't know if a partner who is compatible with you in your teens will still be compatible in your 20s. Your lives are changing frequently with school and getting settled into your career. There's often a bit of moving around involved. You don't have the relationship experience to know what to do when things are getting tough. One or both of you may feel restless and wonder what else is out there, etc. It sounds like she's somewhat checked out of the relationship and didn't know how to communicate that to you. This is also her first or only long-term relationship, so she is scared of being alone or ending the relationship. And maybe setting up a date with someone else was an attempt to jump ship so she doesn't have to be alone. Having no fights in a relationship isn't always a good thing. In many cases, it means that potential points of conflict are not being talked about to avoid rocking the boat. I don't think this relationship is salvageable. She's checked out, and no matter what you do, you can't fight to get those feelings back. I think you should try and learn from what happened and do your best to move on. It's going to be hard. Losing your first serious relationship is hard, but it can be a tremendous learning and growing experience to help you eventually end up in a happy long-term adult relationship. Also, the part you said, "We never had any fights," and she never mentioned she may have been unhappy. She said there was no reason for what she did. She said she doesn't know what's wrong, and that I haven't done anything wrong. But why would she cheat on me? Respectfully, you need to work on your self-confidence. It's admirable that the first place you look for problems is in the mirror, but that is not how cheating works. Cheaters cheat because they are cheaters. As you said, normal people break up before hitting up someone else, no matter how bad it gets. Abnormal people cheat. Really abnormal people cheat not in a moment of passion, but over the course of several hours, while getting texts from your 4-year partner. This is no way your fault. Don't look for things you did wrong. She is quite possibly doing this to get you to do the breakup. She lacks the ovaries to do herself, in which case her behavior may escalate if you stay together. You are better than this. Just dump. That's it, guys. If you liked the video, do me a huge favor and destroy that like button gently, and also subscribe for more Reddit videos. See you on the next video.